all the U.S. stuff. I do worldwide, but
Okay.
I have emailed you about something recently.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. That's right. Okay.
I
All right,
forget.
friends. Well, welcome to another edition of Stamps Chat. It's 3 o'clock, and I know how much we appreciate timeliness, and I appreciate your time as well. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, to all of our members of the American Philatelic Society, your dollars are, help promote this and support this programming. And so we very much appreciate that. Please continue to consider either through the Mighty Buck Club or through APS Cares to support the APS programming. We're doing everything that we can behind the scenes to support your needs and make everybody feel comfortable. Today's Stamp Chat is about Classroom C3a, and we have two of our education staff members. We've got Dr. Cathy Brachbill and Ms. Kathleen Edwards on the line, who are going to be the facilitators of today's first presentation. Yeah, there's Rob giving us a friendly wave. Again, just to reiterate for our friends who haven't joined us, we will have Q&A at the end, and if you wouldn't mind, you can write your question in the chat, or there's a little button, if you can figure that out. If not, don't worry about it, that raises your hand, and I promise I'll get to it. Hi, Debbie. All right, friends, so without further ado, and again, thank you so much for joining us. Here we go to Dr. Brachbill.
Good morning. Oh, I guess it's not morning. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stamp Chat. First, I would like to find out how many of you have actually been to the C3a website. So if you can go to your, I don't even see it on mine, underneath reactions, if you can give a thumbs up, if you've been to the C3a website. 1, 2, besides me, 3, 4, 5. And then your thumb doesn't stay there for too long. All right, so that was interesting. And I do have to say, hey, Hal Turner, you have a Clemson t-shirt on. Yay, my daughter got her master's at Clemson. And what a beautiful campus that is.
Well, thank you very much. We'll have a separate chat sometime on Clemson. My family heritage goes back to the first president of the university before they had students.
Wow. And which, in your background just reminded me, there's a Penn State, Michigan State postage stamp I should put as my background.
I spent a lot of time on my virtual background. You have to have a color that's coordinated with the orange, and a stamp with a lot of detail, a lot of people in it doesn't work well. Sometimes, I have to position myself in the right place so that you can appreciate the stamp itself.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm really having a lot of fun with these chats, and I'm very interested in today's material. I know I'm taking up everybody's time, but I had an offline conversation with Tom after one of the stamp chats last week and expressed my interest in getting involved in something. And I didn't realize how much material was already on the website. So I have been there. I've looked at a lot of it. I haven't seen all of it, but I'm one of those people who plans on passing my collection on to a family member, skipping a generation and going with a grand nephew. And I don't have any idea whether or not he will be bitten by the collector bug like I've been, and so many of us have been. So I'm looking for ways to make sure that he becomes interested at an early age in collecting.
Wow, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So C3a stands for, it was kind of a forced thing. I came up with the idea of naming it C3a and then had to figure out what the acronym really meant. But it stands for Collecting and Connecting Academy Central or Central Academy. So you have the 3 C's and an A. But what it is an on-demand online tool that right now contains a lot of videos, a few resources, and specifically one free course for APS members. And they're on a variety of topics and in different interest areas. And we hope that we grow it till it becomes just the greatest place to go for philatelic information. So right now we have about, there's at least 500 hours, not 500 hours, 500 minutes of content. There are about 70 instructional videos of varying lengths. Some are really short. And like I said, there is one course so far that is free to members. There's been a new course uploaded that is now for cost. So that is for payment. And there's an interactive glossary. And Kathleen, who is my cohort in crime, is going to show you where you actually find C3a. So Kathleen, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. All right. Can everyone see the stamps.org on the screen? Okay.
Not yet.
Thanks, Tom.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, great. So where you can find C3a on stamps.org is under Learn and Online Learning. And we'll go there. And so this is the page on the stamps.org website. There's a little video there on how to sign in. The one trick to getting on the site is you need to be logged in to your stamps.org account. And then from there, you can go to the homepage of C3a, and you can look up in the browser or the web address bar at the top. It takes you to learning.stamps.org. So once you're there, if you have never used C3a before, you're going to have to register. And that's down there on the second sentence underneath the photo. If you've already registered as a learner, you can click login, and you can log in with the username and password that you selected when you registered. Sometimes people have some issues logging in. It usually has to do with the email consistency between your stamps.org login and your C3a registration. So you want to make sure that you're using the same email that you put in IMIS, our database for our members, for stamps.org and for C3a. So I'm going to log in to my test account. So you can see what it looks like when you are all registered and logged in. And if you are registered but not logged in to your stamps.org account, you're not going to see the member content. There's content for non-members, but there's more things for members. So you definitely want to make sure that you are logged in to your account on stamps.org so you don't miss that, those videos and resources. All right, did we want to do a tour of the site, Kathy?
Yeah, you might as well lead the tour since you've got the page up.
All right. So we'll start with my courses.
And the tabs across the top are the same as clicking on the boxes or on the icons in the middle.
So the ones listed here are only available to APS members. The only thing that you're seeing here that you won't see, unless you're under 18 and a YSCA member. So we have a separate login for our Young Stamp Collectors of America. So when you see that, it's just on my test account, but as a regular APS member, you will not have access to the Young Stamp Collectors of America content. I can show you that a little later, some of the things that YSCA gets to do. But for now, we'll start with the regular APS membership. There's different video series, and you click the open button to open those up and to click on the different videos in the series. To start each one, you have to click the blue buttons. If you just click the title here, it'll just bring up a description. So you do have to click launch to begin the video. And then once you launch that and finish a video, the little circles on the left will turn green when you've completed them. And to go back to where you came from, you want to make sure that you follow the top here, not the back button. That's a trick.
Can you say that one again?
You want to go back here where it says my courses and the little triangle up here. You want to use that to go back. If you click the back arrow at the top, it will take you back, I believe, to home. Is that correct,
Okay.
Kathy?
I don't know. Why don't you see?
Yes, it'll take you all the way back to home. So.
And then the problem is once you click on my courses again, you'll be in the same, you should be on the same page you just clicked out of.
Right.
And it did, and of course it didn't do that. So the course that is available right now is Introduction to Philatelic History. And if Kathleen will click on that, it will show you that there's different modules. And the way this is set up is that you need to complete module 1 before you can take the module 1, check your understanding. And then each subsequent module will open up till you get to the end where you can get your certificate of completion.
Yeah, so there's ones that have different parts, and then there's also ones that are just videos. And those you can just click, you can click launch and they'll just start right away.
So anything on underneath my courses can only be seen by APS members. So if you would happen to create an account and there's nothing under my courses, that means you've created an account that the system sees as being one that belongs to a non-member. And the only way we can fix that is if we know it, and then we can go into the back end and tell it that you really are a member. So that is the My Courses tab.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click on the Catalog tab, right now, I have it set up so instead of having things in the Catalog tab that you click on and they're pushed over to My Courses, I just put everything under My Courses. Eventually, when we have enough content, I'll probably change that so people can pick and choose underneath my catalog what they want to open up under My Courses. But I thought that was just a little bit too many clicks. The Videos and Resources tab again, it has the Young Stamp Collectors of America link where only YSCA members will be able to see that. You will not see that. But all the other things that are underneath here under resources right now are available to any non-member who might create an account. And we're thinking specifically with, we have, where you'll see down at the bottom, videos for teachers and club leaders and collectors of all ages. And then Bridges, which is activities for sharing, that we've created a new education column in the American Philatelist, where we're sharing activities that people can use with people of all ages and putting some of the resources there. With the APS member benefits videos, there are 15 segments there that, if you didn't know about some of the things that the APS has to offer, or if you want to share with someone who's not a non-member the things that they could get as benefits for belonging, there are things there. And they will be updated as they need to be updated. So all these things that you've seen so far have been free to either members or, underneath videos and resources, non-members as well. Everyone has access to this page who creates an account. And then under community, we don't have that really active right now, but once we have people signing up for courses, they will be able to have a social aspect with anyone else who might sign up for that same course. Now, the e-commerce was just put up and running last week. And right now, if you're a member, the things that are shown here will have the member price. If a person has a non-member account, those accounts will, the prices will double for non-members. But you can buy things immediately and immediately download the different things. And you'll see the proprietary stamps in general and private die stamps video. That's a Ron Lesher video from a few years ago. And he didn't even know it was up there. So right now there are 8 videos, I believe, and the competitive thematic exhibiting is a 10-part video series that was an on-the-road course. And the collecting first day covers, oops, so she clicked on that, there's a whole description about it. And you can either add it to the cart or you can do a buy it now. And then the on-demand course that's there right now is a collecting first day covers. It's a 6-lesson course. It was also an on-demand course, but this one is in a different format. It's not a video. It's where you work through multiple lessons. And so even though it's 6 lessons, each lesson has several parts to it, depending on the length of that chapter of the book that they produced. So can we hear some questions that people might have, or know if you want to see something else more specifically on here?
So friends, go ahead. And as I said at the top of the hour, and thank you, Dr. Brachbill and Ms. Edwards, thank you so much for sharing more about Classroom C3a. If you'd like, you can, if you're a little camera shy, go ahead and write your question in the chat. Or you can use the little hand button. Or just raise your hand. Here we go. Starting us off with Rob Hathaway. Go for
Real
it.
quick, I don't want to monopolize this. I was, of course, in it on my big monitor here while you were talking and following along. I was tempted to click and launch in the videos and resources glossary of philatelic terms, searchable PowerPoint. Mm-hmm. Is it a very big PowerPoint that never
well, Rob, that's an excellent question, because yesterday when Kathleen and I were going over our presentation, it launched immediately. And then this morning, or just an hour ago, when Kathleen and I were going through it, it did not launch at all.
That's what's doing to me.
Yes. So
okay.
I'm not sure what happened. I can show you what it should look like.
Okay.
Do you want me to stop sharing my screen?
Yeah, send it over this way.
I missed it at the top when the question was asked. How many people have used this by a show of hands?
I saw maybe 5 or 6.
I've created an account. I've started the introduction module and thought, well, I never finished it. It was pretty basic.
Yes, I would agree that the information we have on here is pretty basic.
Okay.
So I don't know if anyone can see my screen now. Did it come over this way?
Not yet, Kathy.
Okay.
So I just at random clicked the one button that doesn't work, of course. It's just my skill. It's a talent.
And what button was that?
Launch the PowerPoint.
Oh, yeah. And so I can show you what it's supposed to look like, but I really don't have to. Like I said, it worked fine yesterday. I'm not sure why it wouldn't work today, but I'll have to take it off and just re-put it back on again.
I'll let somebody else try another button. I'll go ahead and mute.
For now. I don't see any questions in the chat.
I can tell you that when people have contacted us because they were having issues, one issue was that they weren't seeing the member pieces, and that's because they created an account without being logged on to stamps.org. Because we have a single sign-on feature that if you're signed on to stamps.org and you enter C3a that way and create your account, then the system knows that you're a member.
Nice.
Otherwise, it doesn't have, it can't know that. The other problem that some people have had is that what Kathleen talked about before, if your email account that you create your C3a account with doesn't match your email account in our member management system for the APS, then it's going to just sit there and stew about it and not go anywhere. So it won't create an account. But trying to address the issue of, okay, I would really like more content on there that's more sophisticated, then that's where I need to turn to the philatelists in the group who have specific interests that might be wanting to share their content with others. And we can do that in multiple ways. It can be if you have images and give me some descriptors for those images or text, I can turn that into a video. If you have a PowerPoint, the same thing, a PowerPoint with text, I can turn that into a video or a course. Or if you want to talk about it on a platform such as this, and it would be a presentation you do just for me or for multiple people, we can record it and put it on as content. So, and I'm sure there's other ways we could negotiate having you share your knowledge with other collectors on this platform.
I'm scanning the cubes. I'm scanning the Brady Bunch boxes for any for any hands up.
But I'd love some questions or comments.
Kathy, does the private die proprietary PowerPoint that I put together previously, does that have a spoken script along with it?
I'm trying to think where I have that.
It's on the e-commerce.
I know that's where I have it, but I can't log, I can't, oh, I know where I can go get that. I am going to try and find it, and I will show you what it looks like. And once I find it, then Heidi, you can give my computer access. How's that?
What, share screen?
Yeah, share screen that, but don't do it yet till I find it.
You can just click the share screen at the bottom, Kathy.
Oh, see, my laptop screen's over top that, so I can't even see that. All right, so.
Kathleen, while Kathy navigates over there, you know, do you have your kids in Stamp Hunters using the classroom, or?
We have not. For people that don't know, Stamp Hunters is the local Bellefonte State College stamp club for kids. So we just have in-person meetings. But the YSCA, which is Young Stamp Collectors of America, is the National Youth Stamp Collecting Club. It is now
Excuse me, one
online.
moment. I'm going to mute everyone and then unmute our co-host. One moment, please.
And starting the line.
Go ahead.
The Young Stamp Collectors of America is our online national youth club. All of it is online now. It's e-newsletters and monthly lessons. And I'll just share real quick. So if you have any kids or grandkids who are interested in joining YSCA, it's $10 a year for a student and $15 for a family. So if there's multiple kids in a family, it's a deal. So under my courses is where we have the kids' monthly lessons and some activities and some lessons related to certain topics like animals, history, just for fun. The recent lessons are monthly. When I first started using this, I just did PDFs, then I did a video, and now I have a video with questions that they can answer at the end.
Why don't you launch one of them?
Sure.
Fabulous.
So here is the April one. And we did a lesson on tin can mail. And then at the bottom, at the end of the presentation, I usually ask them about three questions. And so if anyone doesn't know, the answer is volcano. And then they can continue. It is all online, but I do go in and check to see who has completed the lessons, and then they usually get a stamp packet with some stamps and covers in it for participating.
Oh.
The other thing that the kids have is a monthly e-newsletter, and that is under video and resources. And we have the current 2020 newsletters, and then we have archives for past years of newsletters. They're all PDFs, and they can take a look at those. And they're usually related to the monthly lesson, maybe a different aspect of it. And then there's always activities. And if they email me the answers to the activities, they get free stamps and covers as well.
Nice.
So yeah, so if you have a youth in your life that might be interested in this, they also, and when they join, they get a welcome packet, which includes an album and a lot of goodies. Right now, if they join, that album will come when we reopen. but they will have access to all of this in the meantime. So.
And that's youth membership? Is that what you said, Kathleen?
Yes, Young Stamp Collectors of America. If you go on the website under Learn and Youth in Philately, I believe is the tab, you can join there.
Great. Kathleen, Dr. Brachbill, did you get your issue resolved so we can go back to that?
I can share it, but I'm not sure that it will have sound. I mean, I can hear it, but I didn't hear Kathleen, so I'm thinking that maybe you won't be able to hear it because I have earphones in. So do you see proprietary stamps on the screen?
No. CM.
Negatory.
Kathleen, one
Mhm.
question. Age groups. My grandchildren are kind of between four. One's 4, one will be 7. Is that good or bad yet? Too soon?
7's definitely a great age for it. 4 might be
Okay.
a little young. I mean, definitely probably would enjoy getting the free stamps and looking at them and all of that stuff. But for the lessons and the newsletter, I would say that 4's probably too young.
Mr. Galletti has a question. Are there any plans to link digitized exhibits in the APRL to the C3a site for study?
We have talked about that, but there seems to be that I don't think we came to a decision. It's how many places do we want the same content to be would be the question. But if we certainly could put them on C3a, but that's only if the APRL would want that to happen.
Okay. We have, how many members do you support? The answer wasn't clear, Kathleen. So how many members do we support today?
For on C3a or
I'm thinking that YSCA.
YSTA. So we have about 100.
YSCA, yes.
Yes, I would say. There's a smaller core group that participate the most often, but for paying memberships currently we have about 100.
So Greg, why the question about the online exhibits?
Let's see if he's still here. Is Greg still in the group? Greg's still here.
Tell him to unmute his mic.
Yeah, but Greg, how about you go ahead and unmute your mic, hon, if you want to respond to Kathy. Well, of course he could have, it is Zoom. He could have, gone and made a cup of coffee or something. So we'll circle back to Mr. Galletti in a little bit.
So the last time I looked on...
Here it is. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
I can't talk, but I think it's a valuable tool for knowledge management. That's
Okay.
his response. Thank you, Mr. Galletti.
And I see Scott Tiffany's on here, so we can certainly have that discussion to see if it makes sense. I did want to let you know that the last time I looked, we had over 600 registered users on C3a. Most of the items that I put on the system don't count visits, because when we count visits, then it costs us more money to house the program. So I tried to avoid that and go in as not being counted.
Wendy, did I see a hand up from you, Wendy? And you can either unmute or just write it in the chat. Here we go. Did you have something?
No, I just gave a thumbs up earlier, and I think my thumb is stuck in the up on there. So I think that's what you're seeing. So thumbs up all around to everybody.
Truly, truly. This really is a remarkable website. I'm really thrilled that we had this because I mean, I'll be honest, I hadn't looked around, and it's very user friendly, and it's not clunky. And I can't wait to start to direct more and more people to it. I think, yeah, I hope yesterday, friends, I know we have some regulars. I hope we did direct our teacher over there. Okay, I see Rob, thank you. Okay, good. You're muted. We did send her over there.
I don't know. I just asked the same question pretty much in chat. I said we had Laura Spurway, Laura Spurway yesterday.
Yes, and I hope that we suggested C3a to her.
I don't think we did.
Oops.
And I asked the question, would it, if you were to promote this out nationwide to teachers and school-based stamp groups, kids nationwide, would that be too much? Would we not be able to support thousands?
Good question.
The things that teachers have access to are the no count items. So it wouldn't count against our license. And I did that purposefully.
Explain that to me. So when you say no count stuff, you mean the same stuff I see? Go ahead.
So anything that's under videos and resources are items that don't count for usage.
Okay.
And right now, over on the other side that members can see that are under courses, the only thing that is countable is that introduction to philatelic history. That's the only countable item that I have on there. The YSCA items, however, anything that's interactive that gives feedback is a countable item.
So those items, it might be a problem to support thousands.
Well, we would have the membership that's only available to people who have a membership to YSCA. So that's where the funds would come in if we needed to up our license of usage.
Got it. Hal's got his hand up.
Go ahead, Hal. Hon, hold on one moment, please. We got to unmute you. Why don't you go ahead, Hal, and try to unmute yourself? The button's sticking a little bit over here, hon. I hear sound. Go ahead. Was that a hand, Hal Turner, or no? Negative.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Kathy, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
For you. My two daughters are teachers. One's Florida, one's Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania school's done.
Yes, it is.
So I asked her about, are they still doing chat? She said we are contractually, she's in a private school until May, the end of May. I said, well, is there what kind of content? She said, the school is telling them now what to teach, basically, because they want to keep certain curriculum. So something like this outside may be difficult for her to try to get in. And she does have the stamp kit kit at her office. So I don't know, in Florida, they're still in session for now. And I don't know if they're going to, what's up, Heidi?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was just a personal sigh because, yeah, I'm a parent. I'm a parent in Pennsylvania and just got the word today.
Yeah. And I feel for all parents, but, Florida is still not canceling classes, but they are, again, curriculum particular in a sense. So, I've offered stuff down to my daughter in Florida for her kid about history and stuff where she teaches. And she said, not allowed right now. Don't send it. I'm stuck. I can't do anything. And that creates a problem.
I know our son is still making science experiment videos and dealing with parent complaints about the materials that they have to find around the house: paper clips, batteries, light bulbs, to do
Oh.
yeast.
So can I just jump in for one quick second? One of the things that I was going to point out is if you, for instance, if you read our newsletter on Monday, you know, we're really pivoting away from the teacher aspect of Stamps Teach right now, recognizing that a lot of parents and grandparents are really part of the learning experience for kids at home right now. And since they have probably a better capacity to connect kids with stamp collecting in these times and be able to have the materials and things like that, you know, we're really trying to focus on the home base, knowing full well that once hopefully schools get started back up again in the fall, we can pivot back to the teachers. But you know, you know, I think that, and Kathy, you can back me up on this or tell me I'm crazy, but you know, my interest right now from an educational standpoint is really trying to arm parents and grandparents, because I've heard so many stories about experiences around the country of people who were looking for ways to fill time with their children and give them something useful and productive to do. And, you know, who better to teach about stamps than someone who's collected them for some period of their life and has material there. We're just giving you the intellectual backup, whether it's videos or teaching materials or anything online that we can provide. And then when we're back up and operating again, we can share Stamps teach packages with folks who are teaching at home.
All right, thanks. That was Scott English, our APS Executive Director. Thank you. So do be sure among your networks, you know, to share this resource, because as more and more states are shutting their educational systems down for the remainder of the year, there is going to be a mass clamoring of of need. So you know, whether you're on Facebook or whether you just want to pick up the phone, if you want to text, please be sure to send them our way, and whatever we can do to assist as well. I really think that this will be a boon time for Philately.
So if I could ask if there is any sort of topic or content you would like to see added to C3a. I do have a long list of things that will at someday be put into development, but I can always add suggestions to my list.
Take it away, gallery.
Cathy, it's Tom. Hey, I got a question. In our little club that we have, sometimes a member will come up to one of us and say, I can't find the stamp anywhere. And it's a simple progression of steps to follow that I don't think we teach people how to follow. Like, if you can't find a stamp by, you know, in the country, in the catalog, you go to, hey, you know, what's down at the bottom? How much are they charging? Keep paging back to you, fall into that group. We teach them things like that. And for the stamps, like, so one guy came up one time and said, who is this? It doesn't say a name. I said, see that? That's the Queen. You know, you need that kind of information that a lot of people don't have. So that's
Tom,
something that could be added.
Make me a video.
I'm videoless. This is all I got for video, kid. It won't hold it.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
Limited capacity. This laptop is tiny.
I'm not looking at the laptop.
Do you have a smartphone?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm a flipper.
Oh, you're a flipper. Okay.
Tom, we could have a conversation and come up with the content to create such a video. It wouldn't be on you. It wouldn't be on you.
When
Just the
things open up,
content.
Scott wants me out there for something else. Maybe when we come out, we can go over it
Okay.
and get her done.
Get her done. We've got Rick Howell, Lynn's stamp identifier. That's in the
Well,
chat.
that breaks down what country you may go to look. But sometimes they don't list, like most people look at the picture and can't find the picture in the book, not realizing that there's 5 identifiers that they could see to find that stamp, and they just give up. Put it back in the pile.
It's one of the things I love, stamp ID, and I don't limit myself to the Scott catalog, most definitely. But it takes a long time to learn that MAPKA in Cyrillic letters means tax revenue stamp. So it gets much more complicated than you're describing, because you have the entire world of revenue stamps and Cinderellas as well. And quite often, when they get really frustrated because they can't find it in the catalog, it falls into what I'm talking about. So it gets pretty complicated. But Debbie had something she wanted to talk about. Content.
Go ahead, then.
Yes, I have a suggestion for the videos. I saw there's one on thematic, but I would like to see one on display class. I'm putting together my very first exhibit, and it's on mobile librarians, because I'm a librarian, and mobile libraries around the world on stamps. So I've never put together an display class exhibit or any exhibit whatsoever, and I'd love to see a video of what is going to be expected by the judges and so on.
Okay, I wrote it down. And I do believe embedded in one of the courses, I think on beginning collecting, there is one or at least a couple segments on identifying a stamp. And I'm sure it doesn't go into the depth that you're talking about, Tom, but or Rob. But I know there is something there. But I worked on it so long ago, I don't remember.
What occurs to me from Tom's discussion and from my elaboration, the International Society of Worldwide Stamp Collectors maintains a very extensive list, far and above and beyond what's in the Lynch Stamp Identifier.
And I did have a link to that identifier in that lesson.
And from that, I was going to use as an example. Developing this content, I think maybe we should reach out to affiliates who probably can comment on this. Debbie's question could come from WE or AEPE.
Mm-hmm.
Tom's question, I and Tom and the other members I could pull in from the ISWC could pull together some video content on the fine niceties from beginner to Russian tech revenues. Could probably pull that together, and you could farm that work out to affiliates.
I would love that.
It's just an idea. Have you thought about that?
I have.
We have a member in our club, Rob, that grew up in Russia. His father wrote a catalog in Cyrillic and in English of Philatelic of both that period of time in White Russia.
Right. Here's what I just got in the mail yesterday. I'm always growing my library. This is it's mostly in English. But this replaces the 1951 Denmark revenue catalog I had, takes it up into the 1980s, and is in English instead of Danish, which was a bit of a challenge. Nothing I couldn't handle.
What are your favorite aspects of the C3a? What do you have? Do either of you, Cathy or Kathleen, have, babies, pets? Can't miss.
I mean, I'm partial to the kids stuff, but I do think that having the video and resources section and the bridges folder with the free activities for sharing with adults and kids, I like that. That's probably my favorite part.
I can't say I have a favorite part. I guess my favorite part are the things that I get entered, that I get put onto the system so I can move on to the next thing.
Yes, when it uploads and works is always
Yes.
good.
Which brings me to, I got the e-commerce site working, I think working, loaded, but I haven't had anyone purchase anything yet. So I'm just hoping that I put everything in there correctly so it works. So if anybody wants to try that and buy something, I'll
It's
give
only
you
$5.
something in, I'll give you something in return.
It's only $5, and I'm not going to pass it up because I love Mr. Lesher's work here. So let's give it a shot.
Oh, look at that. The Hathaway family. Phenomenal. Remember, friends, this is my plug.
I'm not going to share my screen. It has to be-
Membership gets you a discount.
I'm not going to share my screen because it's reviewing order. It's probably going to ask me for my credit card.
Of course.
Uh,
No, and I mean that for anyone who's on the call. If you try to go purchase something, I will give you something in return for that.
but we're doing it as we speak here.
Uh-huh.
Review order, $5. Payment.
No, don't pay yet.
Don't pay yet.
Share it with everybody.
They're not seeing my screen. I've already told them I wasn't going to do that.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, we can't see.
okay.
Everybody put that credit card number down somewhere.
Oh, here we go. I need to go get that security code.
Look at the dedication of our members. Thank you so much again for that.
And my other request would be if you do go on and look at a piece and you have a comment, good or bad, about any piece, please email either me directly or to education@stamps.org, because we will go back and address things. And if you find something that really needs to be fixed or something you really like, it would be nice to know that.
A spinning ball.
Uh-oh.
An email come in.
That's a really interesting component. Was that already built in, the commerce?
It was built in, but to make it fit with our payment structure, we had to have some special work done. And there are so many different parts to entering one piece into e-commerce, it's possible that I got something wrong.
I got an error. An error
But
processing your order. Please try again or contact customer service for assistance.
and do we have customer service?
I was going to say, is that you, Dr. Brachbill?
I don't know. Okay, so thank you, Rob. I will have to go back in and ask for tech support to go look at it.
Let me,
Rick said you just bought 459 copies.
it's only supposed to be a $5.
Yes.
I could share the screen if you want to capture it, or I'll send it. I'm going to take a screen capture of the error. And
Okay, great.
send it to Heidi. Okay.
Super.
That'd be great.
Thank you,
Thank
Rob.
you.
Thank you.
That's Heidi. You're now customer service. You're not just.
Well, that would be Heidi, customer service, yes.
Yeah. Whatever I can do, friends, especially with this loyal group, I really appreciate it. So thank you.
I want to thank everyone for coming and listening to this new exciting platform that the APS is launching, and look for your continued support and assistance if you feel like you can give us some help.
Thank you. And and Mr. Howell says, thanks for all your work. Go ahead, Rob.
I would like to say one of the reasons I'm so habitual in here, and Rick also, is we are on a campaign to get our stamp club into the digital age. So
Okay.
we keep hoping. I keep haunting the participant list to see.
Well, you're walking the talk, friends, and we really appreciate it. And if COVID doesn't bring us to the virtual age, then truly I don't know what else will. So,
Rob, I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah.
you. We're trying to
Tom's
get,
with you.
yeah, we've had 2 members on here and 1 member who has,
Corwin.
yeah, he's had issues with dealing with Zoom, and him and I have gone back, and I see now he's got somebody else from APS involved, and I'm like, oh, come on, it's just either you like it or you don't, period.
Well,
Yeah.
friends, on that note, Tom, I wasn't sure whether it was worth the time, but do you think coming up with like a 20 to 30-second Zoom how-to is something I should invest in, or thoughts?
Probably. Yeah, I was.
No, because things are changing. I
Yeah.
can't go into it, but things are changing with the format, so
Okay,
let it go with that.
understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to I just submitted Monday an article for our club newsletter, and it's just a half-page article. And I pointedly said I can't go into any details because it will depend upon whether you want to use Zoom or WebEx. WebEx is free for 90 days, which would get most of our clubs through the crisis. I hope, well, knocking on wood.
I know, all of us.
But our club is a kind of like a confederation in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We hold 3 meetings: one in Arlington, one in Irving, and one in Granbury. There's no reason why we couldn't all come, and a lot of the members never see each other. They only go to 1 meeting a month. It'd be a good idea for us to just permanently have 4 meetings a month, 1 of them online. That way we could all get to know each other. One of the things I said in my article was, I greatly miss door prizes, shaking people's hands, picking up the free literature that people are giving away on the giveaway table, and I miss being able to peruse sales books and socialize. But other than those list of things on the fingers of one hand, everything else we do in a stamp club we can do here.
Yes, I agree.
Here, which include buying stamps. So if you've got the shopping bug or you need some retail therapy, do go online to stampstore.org. Yes, shipping is delayed. However, delayed gratification is a virtue, friends. And I just wanted to, make that pitch, but also be clear because sometimes people on Twitter, things are a little bit slow. I have read, the APS is closed. Well, yes, our brick and mortar is closed. However, any of our services are up and running. So I wanted to reiterate that. Of course, you are the peanut, I'm preaching to the choir, but I did want to be clear about that. If you have any questions or concerns about the APS, tonight, we are having our town hall meeting with our executive director, Scott English. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern, so join the call and feel free to, ask away anything. He's here, and we just want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable, and we're watching the ship very closely. I have one question from a non-member. Can you share with me the total amount of paid members to the APS that we have? I believe we're at about 28,000. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Give or take, you're good.
Thank you. So we have 28,000, and maybe we'll have 28,001 by the end of this call.
Well, we got Richard Moore the other day, remember?
We did. I got my big fish, and I wish I could get a $10 prize for that one. But yes, we did. And he's really been promoting us very well. We're getting a lot of accolades. And I'll tell you, having everyone here in the gallery, that really people are coming in from all over the world. And, you've set the foundation. So thank you so much for joining us. It is the 4 o'clock hour, and for respecting your time, another hour is over. We have burned the wires up. It's been a wonderful stamp chat. Please do join us again tonight at 7 p.m. with Executive Director Scott English. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place at Stamp Chat. Thanks so much, everybody. Bon voyage. See you tomorrow.
See you later, guys.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.